Okay, you just saw the chocolate chip cookies when they came out of the oven and how beautiful they are. Now we're going to go walk through that recipe and show you how we made it. They're supposed to be chewy chocolate chip cookies, which is the way I like them. I have already measured or weighed all. Next thing we're going to do is we've got our butter already in the mixing bowl. We're going to add the sugars and we're going to beat that until it's light and fluffy. So I'll bring you back when we're ready to add the dry ingredients because we're going to add the sugars, the egg, and the vanilla. And then I'll bring you back when we start to add the flour. I have all the liquid ingredients combined. In here we have the butter and the brown sugar and the white sugar, the eggs. We're going to back up and turn the timer off. We've got the eggs and the vanilla in here. And now we're going to add the flour. I have a new toy. Hooks to the front of my KitchenAid, and you can put dry ingredients in it, and it goes straight into the bowl and maybe not all over the kitchen. I hope it's going to work. I'm just about to try it as I add the flour to this recipe. You're supposed to add it gradually. So let's see how this goes. About halfway through, I'll probably stop and scrape the sides down. At this point, you could add pecans or walnuts. Some people put raisins. These are not for me, and they're just going to be chocolate chip. But you could add other things if you wanted to. That's how you make them yours. All right, I'm going to stop. I'm good. The last time I scraped the sides, I forgot to let my bowl down. It made it rather difficult. So we did it a little better this time. Let's scrape it down. Remember, when you're using a stand mixer, sometimes things can hide out down in the bottom. That's why I like to do the last of my mixing with my spatula or a spoon so that I'm sure I've got everything up that needs to be up from the bottom. Okay. Continue adding this flour. And also remember that once we add the flour, we don't want to beat too long because we don't want to develop gluten that makes our cookies tough. We want them to be tender and chewy. They'll be delicious. Okay, like that. Let's see if we can get that last little bit to go in there without the spoon. We did. I love this contraption. Make sure we got it all in there. All right. It helps with the mess a little bit. All right, we're going to take our beater out of there. And we will pull this batter over. Look at that batter. Doesn't it look good? Chocolate chip cookies have brown sugar in there because we want it to have a little bit of that caramel kind of flavor, right? So we're going to scrape all this batter off we can off this paddle. You ever eaten raw chocolate chip cookie dough? Yeah, me too. And I know it has some raw egg in it, but it sure does taste good. Okay, this over here. I'm going to make sure we have everything scraped up. We don't have anything down in the bottom. The recipe calls, and I will post this recipe, calls for 1 3/4 cups of chocolate chips. When I measured out of my 11.5 ounce bag of chocolate chips and we measured 1 3/4 cups, there was just a little bit left in the bottom. So we just put the whole bag in. What's wrong with a few extra chocolate chips? So we're going to take our spatula and stir those in. If the chocolate chip cookie police come and get me, they just will. All right. We are going to kind of get rid of all the mixing equipment, get our pans out because we're going to dip these cookies out with a cookie scoop. I use this size. I don't know what size it is. It might be a tablespoon and a half or 2 tablespoons. We're going to scoop out with this. We're going to scoop them on great big cookie sheets, and we're going to stick them in the in the freezer for about an hour. It helps them not spread so much. I'm also going to use my silicone mats that are marked for macarons. And I'm doing that to make myself be diligent about spacing them 2 inches apart. So we're going to go ahead and scoop them, and I will show you what they look like scooped in just a minute. I just got the first batch of chocolate chip cookies out of the freezer. As you can see, my brilliant idea of putting them in each of the macaron things did not make them 2 inches apart, and I was afraid they would run together, so I spread them out further because I want these to have plenty of room to do their thing in the oven. Also, we've got all those chocolate chips in the cookies, then we had a bag of chocolate chunks, so we put 3 little chocolate chunks in the top of each cookie, so they'll be even more chocolatey and yummy. We're about to put this first pan in the oven at 350 degrees. It says from 12 to 13 minutes, but if they're frozen, which mine are, 13 to 15 minutes. So we're going to set our timer for 13 minutes, and then we'll watch them, and we're supposed to cook them till they're golden around the edges, and we'll bring you back and show you what they look like when we take the first batch out of the oven. First batch of chocolate chip cookies just came out. They're cooling, and we've got another batch in the oven, and we are perking here. We're going to get this done.